Marketing That Works with Drew Bedard is a proud member of the Market Street Media Podcast Network. From their beautiful studio in downtown Johnson City, Market Street Media can help you create a podcast with no hassle. You don't have to fool with equipment. You don't have to fool with software. You don't have to worry about editing your podcast. Best of all, you don't have to worry about making embarrassing mistakes as you're trying to start your podcast. All you have to do is walk in, record your show, and walk out. Market Street Media does the rest. They'll even live stream your show to thousands of people on their Facebook page. Come see how fun and easy podcasting can be at Market Street Media. Find us online at marketstreet.media. That's marketstreet.media.
I'm Drew Bedard, and this is Marketing That Works, a podcast about the tools, tips, and tactics that business owners and marketers need to wow their customers and grow their profits.
What is up, my people? Welcome back to another episode of the Marketing That Works podcast. Good to be back with you. Drew Bedard here. Thanks again for listening to the show, sharing the show. I'm looking for a sponsor for the show. Anchor has dropped off the sponsorship of the show, so if you're interested out there and you want to rub together a couple dollars and help a brother out, that would be fantastic. I would greatly appreciate it. So, and excuse my voice today. I've got a little bit of a cold that I caught from one of my kids. Not COVID, just a cold, and I'm probably getting over it here real soon. Hey, if you would share the show with one person today, I would greatly appreciate it. And by the way, if you've seen the title and you click through and you were so curious about the title of this episode, it's called Changes. And this was a tactical execution on my part to see if I could get more people to click through. And here's why. This isn't a trick. This is actually a case study. So I was reading a book about retention and about marketing last week, and this one thing caught my eye, and I just thought it was so interesting. There was a company that sent out an email that was having some trouble getting an email to land, and they really wanted it was actually information for their customers about some changes within some of their policies. So instead of putting information or policy changes, they just put the word changes, and that email performed 30 to 40%, I think they said like 36% higher than anything they had sent within 6 months. And it was because of the word changes. They had a one-word subject line. And so the case study is here that if you can use intriguing and thought-provoking and curiosity-driven words in your marketing, in your subject lines, in your social posts, you will see, if you look back at your analytics, you will see a higher rate of engagement. So again, this was not meant to trick you in any way, and it was not meant to announce something crazy here on the podcast this week. It was meant to give you a case study on how to use one word or as little words as possible in your email subject lines or in your social posts. I was also reading another case study that said the highest engagement for emails are in the 3 to 5 word subject line range. So just a really interesting statistic or a series of statistics that came out about email subject lines, that the one changes got a 36% higher open rate compared to other emails that the company was sending. It's a company called 500 Startups. And then the other one was, if you can keep your subject lines or your social posts curiosity driven and keep them within 3 to 5 words, you will see higher open rates and higher engagement. So that's it. That's the case study this week. Try to use less words in your subject lines in your blog post, your blog post header, your blog post title, your email subject lines, your social posts. We talked, there's a lot of different executions all over the web where you are using headlines, subject lines to get people's attention. Try to do it in a way that is thought-provoking, that makes the brain curious. This also goes back to an old case study that I've talked about on the podcast before called, I think it's called the open loop theory, which is basically opening a story loop for your customers. If you can do that, and that's where you get the question mark at the end of a subject line, or maybe an ellipse at the end of a subject line, of leading you to wonder how do I close this loop? The brain wants to close story loops, and once you open a story loop, the brain wants to close it. So it's why teasers and trailers are so effective in movies. Because when you tease, when you open a story loop, the only thing left to do is to go see the movie to close that story loop. What happens in the story? What happens in the movie? So that subject line changes, trying to keep your subject lines, your social posts, your blog post titles short, curiosity driven, open a story loop so that the customer's curiosity is piqued and they want to come into your story to close that story loop. So hope these were helpful tips today, and I look forward to talking to you on the next one. If you have any questions, please reach out to me at Drew Bedard on Twitter, at Drew Bedard on Instagram, and drewbedard@gmail.com. Have a great day.
Thank you for listening to the Marketing That Works podcast. To find out more and to get the show notes and everything that's going on, go to marketstreet.media. That's where I house this wonderful podcast on the Market Street Media Podcast Network. So thanks, check it out, and we'll see you on the next episode.